Testing. This is BHGKV mobile. Check another time now. I want to see if I hear the beep. WBHGKV.
Amateur radio newsline will start in 5 minutes.
Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2394, with a release date of Friday, September 15th, 2023, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. Hams in Belgium gain new 8-meter access. Wideband communications gets tested above 100 gigahertz. And there's a new challenge facing the recovery of the wireless from the Titanic's wreckage. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2394 comes your way right now. From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's first independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now reporting from Charleston, West Virginia, here's Jim Dameron, NATMW. We begin this week with two developing stories. The aftermath of a 6.8 magnitude earthquake in Morocco on September 8th, and deadly massive flooding in northeast Libya. According to reports from Region 1 of the International Amateur Radio Union, there was no apparent organized amateur radio deployment in Morocco, where the quake death toll was reported to be in the thousands. The IARU continues to monitor the situation. Meanwhile, ham deployments were considered less likely in Libya, where floods from a storm left more than 5,200 dead. According to the IARU website, Libya does not have an active member amateur society. Newsline will update these stories as circumstances warrant. Despite their potential for use in communications, radio frequencies in the terahertz and sub-terahertz ranges, that is, those above 100 gigahertz, are considered underutilized. The United States Air Force is about to share its plans for a radio they are hoping could change all that. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, tells us about it.
A project in the works in the U.S. Air Force Research Laboratory is exploring the potential that radio frequencies above 100 gigahertz have secure wideband communications. The military is looking to develop an ultra-broadband radio that adjusts power, data rate, and even carrier frequency are hoping by defense contract industry who can assist with the project. Although frequencies in those ranges, which can be used for 6G communications, have a high level of atmospheric absorption that can restrict how far the transmissions travel, the military is hoping to capitalize on the frequency's abilities to accommodate secure channels. The Air Force is hosting an informational day for the industry next month and will be looking for defense contractors who are owned by U.S. citizens to get on board with the project. Early experiments have already proven successful, according to a report on the Inside Towers website. Last December, communication was achieved at frequencies higher than 300 gigahertz during flight experiments by the Air Force, which has been exploring these options for almost a decade. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
In the latest chapter surrounding controversial salvage operations at the wreckage of the Titanic, the U.S. government is challenging a company's plans to recover the doomed ocean liner's wireless telegraph.
The planned recovery of the Marconi wireless telegraph from the wreckage of the doomed luxury liner Titanic are being blocked by the United States government, citing federal law and an agreement that the ship should be gravesite. The salvage company RMS Titanic Incorporated, based in Georgia, had announced its plan to visit the wreck site next May to recover items, including the radio and telegraph used to send the distress call in 1912. Attorneys for the U.S. government claim the expedition would violate a pact with Great Britain that classifies the wreckage as a memorial. The government also maintains that the salvage ship would violate protections that the U.S. Congress next site. The RMS Titanic Company has particular interest in the Marconi room, where messages in Morse code were transmitted. The ship was damaged after striking an iceberg in the North Atlantic while en route to New York from Southampton, England. Marty had been granted the salvage rights earlier by the court. The Associated Press recently, quote, the company was bringing the legacy of Titanic, her passengers, and the crew for future generations, quote. The company plans to put the radio in an exhibit that tells the story of the lost liner. In 2020, RMST permission to recover the radio because its historical significance. The U.S. government challenged the plans for the expedition that year. The expedition called off. This is Jack Parker.
There's me on the 8-meter band of Jeremy G4NJH tells more.
Hams in Belgium have been given privileges on the 40 megahertz. New operators in South Africa, Slovenia, and Ireland, they need access. The Belgian regulator informed the UBA, the Royal Belgian Amateur Radio Union, that hams with an A-class operating certificate, the Herrick license, have granted the use of frequencies between 40.660 and 40.690 on a secondary basis. Operators' power is limited to 5 watts and operating bandwidth cannot exceed 3 kilohertz. Hams will also be required to keep a log of all transmissions and must submit it to the regulator at the end of the year. The UBA had petitioned the BIPT for some time for this limited portion of the parameters use, and following a period of consultation anticipates that the regulator would favor it. This is Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
A different kind of RF filter has been introduced by a defense company in Sweden to assist in military communications. Again, here's Jeremy Boot, G4NJ8.
It is being called the ultra-lightweight camouflage screen frequency selected surface, and it introduces a new capability for soldiers' communications in the field. It's a filter that permits certain radio frequencies to pass through the mesh of a camouflage net protecting military vehicles. The surface, which is not yet in service, was introduced by the Swedish defense company Saab earlier this month. Saab says that until now, camouflage net's ability to reduce enemy sensors' detection of equipment has also prevented GPS signals and other communications passing through, jeopardizing soldiers who must then move out of camouflage cover to perform certain tasks. At times, that has even meant sticking antennas through the mesh in order to transmit or receive signals. Johan Jersblad, a Saab senior development engineer, told reporters that the surface functions as a low-pass filter, which allows transmitted or received signals to penetrate the camouflage screen, but retains the screen's ability to be undetected by higher frequency radar. The surface was on display for visitors at the DSEI Defence Exhibition held in London from the 4th to the 15th of September. This is Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
So what do 3 sons of William Penn, founder of the state of Pennsylvania in the United States, have to do with the special event station being activated in the town of Reading? Mark Abramovich, NT3V, has that story.
Well, history records William Penn as the man who established the American colony, first known as Penn's Woods and later Pennsylvania. It was his sons, Thomas, Richard, and John, who laid out the first streets of the town of Reading, just north and west of Philadelphia. The city is celebrating its 275th birthday this year, thanks to the work of the Penn brothers. On Saturday, September 23rd, members of the Reading Radio Club will mark the occasion by activating the club's call sign, W3BN, as a special event station. Club members will put 3 HF stations on the air from the Reading area for a 12-hour period to commemorate the town's historic milestone. Reading's storied past includes the Reading Railroad, breweries, pretzel making, and the first factory outlets. It is also recognized as home to one of the nation's most successful minor league baseball teams, long associated with the Philadelphia Phillies. But Reading is best known for its pagoda, an actual reproduction of a Japanese structure which was built atop Mount Penn overlooking Reading in the early 1900s. The popular tourist attraction became a historic landmark and a symbol for the town. There's more about the Reading Radio Club's special event station and how you can get in on the fun at QRZ.com. Search for W3BN and check out the colorful certificate that will look great on the wall of your shack. In Reading, Pennsylvania, I'm Mark Abramovich, NT3V.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the K2ADA repeater in Ocala, Florida, on Fridays and Saturdays at 7 p.m. The popular popular online instruction program, Ham Test Online, may not be out of business after all. The creator and owner of the company, John W1AI, announced earlier this year he was planning to retire and would be shutting the website down unless a purchaser came forward to continue the license exam coursework that John had begun. He announced in his most recent newsletter that several organizations have since expressed an interest and that he would be negotiating with one of them soon. He said it was his hope that Ham Test Online would be able to ultimately continue without interruption. A former director of the ARRL's Great Lakes Division has become a silent key. We hear about him from Stephen Kinford, N8WB.
A radio amateur with a long history as an ARRL club and Hamvention volunteer has become a silent key. Dave Coons, WT8W, died on the 2nd of September. Throughout his long association with the ARRL, he had served as vice director and director of the Great Lakes Division and was a volunteer examiner through the ARRL's VEC. Locally, Dave was a leader in the Ohio amateur radio community, serving as president, vice president, and secretary of the Dayton Amateur Radio Association through the years. At Dayton Hamvention, he was chairman of the Flea Market Committee and was on the Communications Committee. His volunteer spirit won him the Frank J. Kirkpatrick Memorial Award in 1993 from the Clark County Amateur Radio Association, where he was also a member. Dave was a veteran of the Korean War and served in the United States Navy. He was a retired postmaster of the Miamisburg, Ohio Post Office. Dave Coons was 92. This is Stephen Kinford, N8WB.
In India, amateur radio operators have helped a young mother locate her parents, ending 16 years of searching for one another. Jason Daniels, VK2LAW, brings us those details.
A 27-year-old woman in India who had been taken by a relative from her parents' home in West Bengal 16 years ago has ended her long search for her family with the help of local radio amateurs. The West Bengal Radio Club was contacted by authorities and was able to make the reunion happen. The woman had been living in Rajasthan with her husband and 3 children. According to a report by the Indo-Asian News Service, the husband told police he first encountered the woman as an 11-year-old girl alone and weeping at a railway station, asking where her parents had gone. A close relative had reportedly taken her from the home in the hopes of finding her a better life. The husband told police recently that he took the young girl to his own home, where he was living with his mother at the time, and tried without luck to trace her family. He told police that the girl remained in the home, but that she did not become his wife until much later, and that it was the wish of his dying mother that he marry her. The news report said that the woman confirmed the man's story to the police, saying that her husband had treated her well. The West Bengal Radio Club was able to make the necessary connections back in West Bengal after the authorities contacted them, providing photos and copies of an official government identity card. Ambarish Nagbiswas, VU2JFA, the club secretary, told Newsline in a text message that after the Hams located her family, mother and daughter were reunited on September 7th in a video call. He said that upon seeing one another, both began crying. This is Jason Daniels, VK2LAW.
Earlier this year, Newsline told listeners about a U.S. radio station on the West Coast that had begun using AI to replicate the voice of a popular DJ by using something called Radio GPT. A channel in Germany has just taken that technology a few steps further. Here's Andy Morrison, K9AWM, with those details.
Artificial intelligence is now responsible for full-time programming on Antenne Deutschland, which calls the format Absolute Radio AI. The DAB Plus multiplex channel in north-central Germany is using radio.cloud, which the broadcaster has already been using in its online streaming version. The AI is capable of providing the on-air voice as well as scheduling the necessary breaks and other elements. The broadcaster's managing director told the RadioWorld.com website that they are hoping to eventually find a nationwide market for this programming. This is Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
In the world of DX, Sajid, VA3QY is on the air as A22EW from Botswana from the 16th of September to the 8th of October. He'll be on 20 through 10 meters, possibly 6 meters, QSL via EQSL. Be listening for special call signs during the 2023 Rugby World Cup hosted by France. The games will continue through the 28th of October. The call signs are TM23RBY, TM23RUGB, and TM63RWC. See QRZ.com for individual calls for QSL details. Don M0CVZ is active holiday style as 6Y5DH from Jamaica, IOTA number NA097 through the 30th of September. He's using SSB on 40, 20, 17, 12, and 10 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Our last story for this week is about family and the future of radio. For some amateurs who are old enough to know the joy of being grandparents, showing the grandkids another big joy, radio, makes for a natural combination, as we hear from Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
On Sunday the 1st of October, the magic hour will be 3 p.m. local time in New Zealand. The magic frequency will be 146.625 megahertz. And the magic combination for Peter Henderson, ZL1PX, will be the company of his grandsons, Alex and Dan, sitting with him in his radio shack. October 1st is Grandparents' Day in New Zealand, so earlier this year, Peter, who was the vice president of the Franklin Amateur Radio Club, thought that Hams and ZL might make good use of that special occasion to pass on the joys of amateur radio to the very youngest generation. Amateurs throughout New Zealand will be getting on their local 2-meter repeaters to kick off the first grandparents-grandkids net in each region. Peter will be using the call sign ZL1SA on his local repeater in the Auckland region. After everyone has checked in, the young and the young at heart will take turns sharing their best grandparent joke, best grandchild joke, stories about their grandmum or granddad, and so on. Peter suggests starting the day by inviting the grandkids over for Sunday dinner first. Once the meal is done, it'll be time for the net. But what if you don't have a grandchild? No problem. Peter suggests that you borrow one. This is a chance to create a memory. And as Peter says, who knows, maybe even create the next generation of amateurs who one day will be grandparents, sharing amateur radio with grandkids of their own. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
If you have a piece of amateur radio news you think Newsline would be interested in, send it on. We're not talking about advertising your club's upcoming Hamfest or field day participation, but something out of the ordinary. If so, send us a brief overview via the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we'd like to cover it, we'll get back to you for more details. Meanwhile, visit our website to learn more about Amateur Radio Newsline Haiku Challenge. Use the entry form on our website and follow the rules for writing your 3-line haiku. With thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, Ambarishnag Bishwash, VU2JFA, ARRL, the BBC, CQ Magazine, Dayton Daily News, David BR, K7DB, 425BX News, Hamtest Online, Indo-Asian News Service, New Zealand Amateur Radio Transmitters, Peter Henderson, ZL1PX, Radio World, Royal Belgian Amateur Radio Union, Shortwave Radio, Wireless Institute of Australia, and you are. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer nonprofit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org. And know we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Jim Dameron, NATMW in Charleston, West Virginia, saying 73. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023, all rights reserved.
8WKY. Timeout.
W8WKY.
the weekly Serenet, featuring club news, trivia, and check-ins from some of the nicest hams in the universe starts in 5 minutes.
This is AA8CS. Test.
Ring good.
AA8CS, KD8SLG. What are you testing, Gary?
I am testing to see if I hooked my pedal up. I'm gonna be in for Fred tonight on the net, so just wanted to make sure that all was well. And thanks for coming back to me there, Nick. KD8SLG, AA8CS.
Pedal what? I didn't get most of that. Just kidding, Gary. All right, man. KD8SLG, clear.
Not funny. AA8CS, standing by for the net.
Dun, 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 dun.
Get ready for the weekly Serenet starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Take it away, Gary. CQ, this is W8WKY calling CQ for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Tuesday Night Net. My name is Gary, as you probably gathered. My personal call is AA8CS, and I'll be your net control operator this evening using the club call W8WKY when I can remember. We meet on this repeater every Tuesday night at 8 p.m., and we encourage all amateurs to participate. This is a controlled net. Yeah, it is. Please direct traffic, actually all traffic, through net control. As always, priority and emergency traffic may break into this net at any time. Tonight, as we normally do, we'll take in and out traffic first, followed by a round of regular check-ins. Then I'm going to turn it over to my trusty trivia sidekick, the master of trivia, Eric, W8ELM. I love Eric's trivia questions. Anyway, before we get started, just a couple of announcements. First, our evening with Scott Yonley this evening was plagued with technical difficulties. Something YouTube was just not cooperating. So we're going to push the evening with Scott to help him in his election campaign. We're going to push that to next Tuesday. And it'll be at the same time, 6 o'clock. We'll have some more details as things happen, but for right now, it's going to be next Tuesday. That date's the 26th, by the way, and it will be at 6 o'clock like today's was scheduled. If you tried to get into it, I really, really do apologize. It's just one of those things. Anyway, I do appreciate everybody's support, and if you could spread the word, I would appreciate that as well.
W8WKY.
All right, we have a meeting coming up this Thursday. It'll be at the Eagles, as usual. Starts at 7 o'clock. There'll be a few of us at the Mexican restaurant there in Rittman. Real close if you'd like to stop by and say hello and chew some tacos, maybe even have an adult beverage, stop on down. That's the 21st, this Thursday, right around the corner. We have some things we need to discuss, and also, let's see, Digital Dorsey will be with us talking about mesh networking. So should be a good program, should be a good meeting, and I really want to make sure everyone who can make it, makes it. And I want to thank Russ, KDAVYT, for his outstanding work with the picnic this year. Freshbergs and sausage, it was fabulous, and I really appreciate it, Russ. Thanks for doing a good job. I also want to thank everybody who showed up for the picnic. It was a good time. I know some things happened and some people were sick, and but I do appreciate all of you who did show up. It was a blast seeing everybody and having those eyeball QSOs. And that's really all I have this evening. Anybody else have anything for the good of the cause? Please call W8WKY. All right, as I mentioned, we'll do in and out traffic first, followed by a round of regular check-ins. And then I'm going to turn it over to Eric WADLM, for his question of the evening. I'm really curious as to what he has in store for us, being the master of trivia and all. When checking in this evening, please give me your call sign, your name, and your location. At this time, I'll take in and out traffic for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Tuesday Night Net. Please call W8WKY.
Whiskey Bravo 8, Victor Mike Whiskey, Jim in Barberton.
AB8OU, Coventry.
Mark and Wadworth, Ohio. In and out.
Whiskey 8, Charlie Tango Mike, carry it, Portage Lakes, in and out.
All right, I'll pick it up. We have WB8VMW. Good evening, Jim. Good to hear you. And Zeke was next. AB8OU, Mark, KE8SFS, and Kerry, W8CTN, the closer extraordinaire. Okay, that's who I got. Anybody else? This is in and out traffic, please. In and out only.
Kilo Bravo 8, Victor Hotel Mike, Simon Green, in and out.
Kilo Delta 8, Echo Papa Charlie, KD8 EPC, Dustin and Medina, in and out.
November Tango 8 Delta NT8D, Dave and Copley, in and out tonight.
Kilo Echo 8, India Mike Echo, David Sterling, in and out.
November 8, Delta Romeo Delta, N8 DRD, down in Marshallville, in and out.
All righty, we added to that list KB8VHM, KD8EPC. I thought you were sleeping, Dustin. NT8D. Good evening, Dave. KE8IME, another Dave, and N8DRD. All right. Last call for in and out traffic. Please call 8WKY.
Kilo Echo 8, Juliet November Hotel, Doug and Rittman, in and out.
Okay, we picked up Doug. Good evening to you, sir. Hope all is going well, and I know you're getting better and better at retirement, but it takes a while. You know, you're not a pro at that. Anyway, hope all is going good for you there, Doug. All right, that's our in and out traffic. We're going to turn to the trivia side of the net. Trivia and comments, mostly comments. I want to hear what you guys have to say, for sure. So, with that, if you would like to join this motley crew this evening, please call W8WK.
W8WKY, this is Kilo Delta 8, Sierra Lima Golf, KD8 SLG, Nick in Orville.
Kilo Echo 8, Uniform India Bravo, KE8 UIB, John in Massillon.
Kilo 8, Papa Juliet Whiskey, K8 PJW, Philip in Twinsburg.
Kilo Echo 8, Victor Zulu Alpha, Eric in Strongsville, KE8 VZA.
Kilo Foxtrot 8, Golf, Brian in Norton.
Kilowatt 8, American Motors Experimental, deck in beautiful downtown, Firestone Park.
WO3X, Whiskey Oscar 3 X-ray, John in Cuyahoga Falls.
Kilo, Charlie, 8, Hotel, Delta, Papa, KC8, HDP, Jerry in Shreve.
All right, I'll pick it up. Okay, KD8SLG, just Nick. K8UIB, living the $5 dream. K8PJW, Phil, good evening. I expect to hear something else about Alaska. KE8VZA, Eric, good to see you at the picnic, sir. G8FK, Brian, good to hear you. K8AMX, WOX, and KC8HDP, my favorite net checker inner. Jerry, good evening. That's who we have. Let's make a real quick call out. Are there any other regular check-ins for this evening's net? Please call W8WKY.
Kilo, Golf 4, Sierra Charlie Kilo, KG4SCK, Mark Copley.
November 8, Lima Tango Radio on RF, the way it should be.
All right, nice G4SCK, Mark. Good to see you again, sir, and I appreciate you hanging out with me at the picnic there. And N8LTR on RF. All right, Bill. All right, I think we got a crew here. Let's turn it over to the master of trivia, Mr. Trivia himself, Eric. W8ELM.
W8WKY.
W8WKY from W8ELM. Good evening to everybody. Here's your trivia for tonight. Using only a well, a stick, and a man hired to count the paces between the two, Eratosthenes, chief librarian in Alexandria, was able to determine which of the following in 240 BC. And Gary, you won't be able to answer that because we both knew him back then. But the rest of you are welcome to participate. Again, using only a well, a stick, and a man hired to count the paces between the two, Eratosthenes, chief librarian in Alexandria, was able to determine which of the following in 240 BC. And your choices are A, alpha, the distance between the sun and the earth. B, Bravo, the circumference of the earth. C, Charlie, the length of a stadion. That is a unit of measure. Or D, Delta, the speed of light. For echo, you can just pick anything you want. Again, and I'll get some time. Using only a well, a stick, and a man hired to count the paces between the two, Eratosthenes, chief librarian in Alexandria, was able to determine which of the following in 240 BC. A, the distance between the sun and the earth. B, the circumference of the earth. C, the length of a stadion, that is S-T-A-D-I-O-N, a unit of measure. or D, the speed of light? W8WKY from W8ELM. Oh, yeah, I'm running this net. All right, Eric, I'm telling you, you're raising the IQ of this entire northeastern Ohio by about 10 points, I'm thinking, maybe even 20. Very good, great question. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to answer it or not, but I think you said no, so I won't. But we're going to start with just Nick. KD8SLG, this is W8WKY. What say you, Nick?
W8WKY. This is KD8SLG. I'm still laughing at you asking if you were running the net or not. There's something about when Eric talks that everybody in the room just decides to defer to the fact that he's in charge. I've been there. I don't know. Maybe that's it. Let's start with trivia tonight. I'm going to go with Bravo. That's my answer. I don't know why I go first on club night for Eric's questions, but here I am. I did pen a haiku, a fresh haiku for tonight. I said I'll do that as long as they keep asking for them. So here it goes. Sarah Club Picnic. A fun time was had by all. Who has a lighter? The Boredom Breaker Net was awesome fun this afternoon. Thanks for stopping by, Gary, and everybody else who was in there. It was a good time. You got to meet Alex this afternoon. He's a trip, too. Most of those characters out there are. But don't tell them, but they have accents. Anyway, that's all I got tonight, Gary. Sorry the Yonley thing didn't work out, and yeah, that's it. KD8SLG, back to net control.
November 8 Whiskey Bravo, in and out.
All right. Before I get started, NAWB got you in and out there. Stefan, take care. And we'll talk soon, I'm sure. Okay, Nick, yeah, hey, Eric's got one of those chemistry teacher voices, you know, and yeah, he is in charge, that's for sure. All right, yeah, yeah, who is running a net tonight? Okay, we'll clear with you, Nick. Just there was something else I wanted to say, but it escapes me at this point. We'll clear with KD8SLG, and let's pick up KE8UIB, living the $5 dream. Good evening, John. How are you?
W8WKY from KE8UIB. Good evening, Gary, and everybody out there on the net. And I am doing terrific on this terrific Tuesday evening. The trivia question. Okay, you guys, I'm a jack of all trades. I am not roundabout all this smart, so I'm just going to take a stab at it, and I'll just pick alpha. It's kind of like choosing a lottery ticket. Either you get it or you don't. But with that, I hope everybody's having a good evening and stuff as I'm sitting here living the $5 dream a nickel at a time. Hi. It's been a long day, but I got to come home, play some radio. Had a good time on the Boredom Breaker Net this afternoon. Thank you, by the way, Nick and everybody that put that on. That was really a treat. And so that made an extra net today. So that was really, really cool. And this is my fourth time checking into a net tonight. And I even talked to a guy on Echolink on a Winchester, Kentucky repeater. So it's been a really kind of long day with radio, even though I worked all day. Now that's a win. That's a definite win. But with that, I hope everybody's having a good evening and stuff. And this is KE8UIB, and I'm going to go ahead and hand this back over to Net Control 7-3, y'all.
All right, John, I concur. That's a win for sure. And sounds to me like you're living that $5 dream, buddy. And it sounds fabulous, as a matter of fact. Okay, we'll clear with UIB. Phil, how you doing this evening? KAPJW, this is WAWKY. What say you, sir?
WAWKY, KAPJW. Good evening, Gary, and good evening to all the Sarah members and listeners on this tonight. Great to hear everyone. I'm going to start off with the trivia. I think I'll go with B as well. It kind of makes the most sense, but I guess we'll see what the outcome is. Let's see, an Alaska story. As far as the picnic goes, that was the afternoon my wife selected that we paint the living room. So I'm going, picnic or painting? Picnic or painting? Well, I guess painting won out. I didn't want to come back and maybe find a locked door or something. Who knows? But anyway, let's see, Alaska. On our way down to Valdez, we stopped at a national park visitor center, and usually, it's like one little building. You got a ranger in there, and they got a couple of displays and stuff. This thing, it was called the Wrangell St. Elias National Park Visitor Center. Now, the Wrangell St. Elias Range is a mountain range that's kind of on the eastern side of Alaska, and it kind of goes into British Columbia. And it contains 9 of the 15 highest points in North America, so it's a pretty cool place. The Wrangell part was made by glaciers, the southern by plate shifts, so you can tell there's a difference in the mountains. But the visitor center was 5 different buildings. I mean, they had a main visitor center, then they had a cultural center, then they had like a conference room. So I mean, they poured some money into this thing. It was one of the best national park visitor center we ever been to, so that was quite enjoyable. So with that, I'll hand it back to the net. Good evening, everyone. This is KAPGW.
KAPJW. Good, Phil. I tell you, I got to put Alaska on my bucket list. I don't understand why everybody in my family has been to Alaska but me. Just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, got you down for B, Phil. Thanks for being here this evening. And it is good having you back in the regular scheme of things here, sir. So we'll talk to you soon. And I forgive you. Yeah, you got to take care of your lovely wife. Got to do that. Happy life, happy wife, or vice versa. All right, we'll clear with PJW, and let's pick up KE8VZA. Eric, how you doing? And good seeing you at the picnic, sir.
W8WKY in the group. This is KE8VZA. Good to hear you, Gary. Good to hear everyone out there. It was good to see you and everyone at the picnic. I met some new people, a couple of whom I've heard on different nets, and it was very nice. And the food was delicious. Nick at Night's pulled pork was just to die for. It was great. And the burgers and dogs, I had a burger, a sausage, and a hot dog over the last 2 days for lunch, and it was great. It was like reliving the picnic a little bit there. Trivia, I'm going to go with answer Charlie, the length of a stadium. I'm kind of rolling the dice there. Nothing real exciting going on here. Got the front grass cut today, probably cut the backyard tomorrow. And took a quick dip in the pool after cutting the grass because a friend of mine triple dog dared me to go in it. So the water was 72, the ambient temperature was about 62. It was actually a good swim. So we posted it on Facebook, so hopefully he'll enjoy that. But anyway, that's all I have for tonight. This is KE8VZA. Back to you.
KE8VZA, W8WKY. All right, Eric, thank you for stopping by. That sounds a little chilly, but I'm sure it was invigorating, to say the least. Thanks for stopping by this evening, Eric, and thanks for coming to the picnic. It was really good, again, having an opportunity to talk with you. So, with that, we'll clear with VZA, and let's pick up G8FK. Brian, how you doing, buddy? Good to hear ya.
Oh, good evening, everyone on the net. I just wanted to say my condolences to Bob Bones' wife, and those who know him knew him well with a big hold of Bill. He was a good guy. I'm talking on a radio that I got it from him, as a matter of fact. So there we go. But I will miss him, and I'm surprised I'm the first one to mention it. So, with great sadness, I say goodbye, Bob. W8IJG. But there you have it. Back to our fearful, trembling leader, KFAG.
KFAG, W8WKY. All right, Brian. Well, I'll tell you, I doing the net at the last second here, and actually I had given Fred a text message to see if he needed a trivia question tonight, and he said, "Oh my God, it's my night." Anyway, that being said, I am absolutely mortified that escaped me this evening. Now, I said that my first little thing there because I was trying to make an excuse, but there really isn't. Bob, let me grab a second. Bob was a great guy. He was a great club member. He was a great trustee. He did all of our fox hunts. He's been around this club for as long as I can remember. Anyway, my condolences to him and to his family, especially his lovely wife, and we're going to do something at the meeting. But again, thanks for bringing it to my attention, Brian. And again, I am absolutely mortified that I didn't lead off with that. All right. Bob would forgive me, I think. KFAG, we'll clear with you, and let's pick up K8ANX. Living the dream. No, you live in the... there's too many dreams going on here. Living the dream in beautiful downtown Firestone Park. Hi, Dick. How you doing this evening?
Well, a very good evening to you, Gary, and all the check-ins and the scanners and all listening here. And a special greeting to Eileen and her wonder dog Riley, and met Eileen at the picnic, and sat with Eileen and Gary and other friends, Wendy and oh, come on, Rod and John, and but I wanted to bring up, I had special delivery service of my plate delivered to me by the president of the club, and I felt so honored. And you have another job waiting for you during your retirement, I'm sure. You would do wonders at any one of the quick food joints. You would really be a valued employee there. And let me see. The fact that I have absolutely no idea what the answer is for the trivia question, I will pick C. and that is the safe answer, C. And I want to say that I am marveling right now at what I'm looking at my television here and looking over at my beautiful wife. And I had the second lens replacement today, and it is finally clearing up a little bit. And my gosh, I have my sight back, and that is wonderful. So, with that, back to you, Gary, and we'll be thinking about your prowess at being a server, first class. Back to Nat. This is Kilowatt 8, American Motors Experimental, living the dream in beautiful downtown Firestone Park.
K8MX. Did I get that right? K8ANX. This is W8WKY. All right, Dick, thank you for being here this evening. And hey, man, that was my pleasure. Anyway, Dick, you're very welcome, and thanks for the flowers. Really appreciate it. Okay, and I take it you're not batching it anymore, since you said your lovely wife was there. So you'll have to. I'll have to cancel the party we planned. Huh. All right. Well, that's okay. We'll just cancel it. K8ANX. We'll clear with you. And let's head up to Cuyahoga Falls. W03X. Good evening, John. How are you this evening?
W8WKY.
Good evening, Gary, and all on the net. This is W03X. When I was working, a lot of times I'd turn off of Old 8 on the Brandywine Road on my way to Independence, and just about that time, Bob would check into the barometer net. I recall his comments, and like in particular, the meals that he had planned for after the fox hunts. And let's see here. Last Wednesday was Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club to the Field. That went from 4:30 in the afternoon to 7:30 in the evening, and I made numerous contacts, and one of them, this was funny, on 10 meters, I just had a ham stick on the edge of my trunk lid, and I was talking with a guy in Idaho. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun there. And let's see. So, regarding the trivia question, I think I also am going to go with C. Charlie. So with that, back to the net, W8WKY. This is W03X.
W03X. This is AA8CS, but doing business tonight as W8WKY. All right, John. Yeah, I have heard you two on the radio about that time on a Wednesday. I was heading to beer night, as a matter of fact, and I heard you and Bob talking. Yeah, that was a pretty cool story. All right, John, thanks for being here this evening. Appreciate you stopping by and have you down for Charlie. All right, Jerry, take it away. KC8 HDP, this is W8WKY.
Well, good evening, Gary, and good evening, Eric. Thank you for picking up the net this evening, Gary. And Eric, a great trivia question as always. I'm going to answer that before I forget. And since no one has picked Delta yet, my answer is going to be Delta, speed of light. Really enjoyed the Sierra Club picnic Sunday. It was great to see everyone who came out. Got to visit with some people, meet some new people that I hadn't seen in person before. That's always a great thing. And it was just a great time of fellowship, and it was just a good time. I want to remind everyone that we still have a club breakfast every Saturday morning at Bueller's in Wadsworth. We meet at 7 a.m. for breakfast, and if you can, stop by and have breakfast with us. Don't really have anything else, so I'm going to send it back to you, Gary. W8WKY and the net from KC8 HDP 73.
All right, Jerry, I have you down for Delta, and thank you for the breakfast invitation. And let's see, it was a good time, and I couldn't have said it better myself. It's lots of camaraderie, and met a couple people I had never met before, so that's always a good thing. All right, Jerry, thank you for stopping by this evening. Appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again real soon. We'll clear with KC8 HDP, and let's head over to Copley. KG4 FCK, good evening, Mark. How are you, and what do you have for the net this evening?
Hey, good evening, everyone. Well, everyone's spoken how well they had a great time at the picnic, and I did too. So that was fine business. And not going to make it to this Thursday meeting. Got some business at Kentucky to take care of. I hate to miss Ken Dorsey's network meshing. I'll probably be meshing through Louisville about that time, a couple hours from the house. Trivia question? Man, Eric, 240 BC. Did they even contemplate the speed of light back then? And I've never heard of a stadium. The distance between the sun and the earth, I'm thinking they probably wanted to steer clear of the sun or befall the fate of Icarus. So I'm going to go with Bravo, circumference of the earth. KG4SCK back to net control.
All right, Mark, I like the way you think. Okay, Icarus, yeah, he had a hot time. All right, we'll clear with KG4SCK. And we're going to pick up Bill here. And Mark, before I go with you, it really was a good time, and I did appreciate you hanging around and making sure everything was put away and up to snuff. Okay. Anyway, that being said, we will clear with you, Mark. And N8LTR, you're up, Bill, on RF the way it should be.
Well, good evening, Gary and the group. My first off trivia, I'll vote B, and did not make the picnic. It was on the calendar, but I decided to stay an extra day in absolutely gorgeous Drummond Island, Michigan, where I'd been up there for a full 7 days helping my buddy close up the cottage. And Saturday put on 615 miles in 12 hours. So you could say Sunday I was in no condition to do any more driving whatsoever. Matter of fact, I didn't get out of bed. Got up at 4 o'clock, took a shower, fed the cats some more food, and whacked out again. So, yeah, those long trips aren't as easy as they were 30 years ago, especially getting out of the car after 3 or 4 hours nonstop. Wow. But anyway, I survived. But good on the club meeting this Thursday. Should be able to attend that. And today I went over, helped a fellow ham, KEA-TQR, get a 6-meter antenna up in the air so it can be used for test purposes and local network operation. So we were pleased to get that underway, and got some more work on grounding and towers to do. So full plate. So we'll turn it back to you, sir. See you Thursday. N8 LTR. Good night, all.
N8 LTR. W8WKY. Okay, Bill. Yeah, you do have a full plate. Slow down. You're moving too fast. You got to make the morning last. Anyway, Bill, I'll see you Thursday, and it will be good to see you. And let's see, you were saying something else. Yeah, well, that's a lot of driving, and I still drive from here to Daytona Beach. It's 14 hours, and we do it in one day, one trip. So I know what you mean, and it hurts. After a couple hours of driving, it hurts getting out of the car. Okay, Bill, good to hear you this evening. All right, I'm at the end of my list. Stefan jumped in, and he was in and out, N8WB. We'll say good evening to him. And I think, yeah, we got 18 minutes or so. Let's see if there's anyone else out there who would like to join us for the trivia question, or just to let us know what's going on in your world. Give me a call. This is W8WKY, standing by for check-ins.
W
Kilo Delta 2 Hotel Charlie Echo, in and out.
KC7IRJ, call, Macklin.
And Gary, KCFQV.
All right, we have KD2HCE in and out. Good evening to you. Thanks for stopping by, please. We also had KC7IRJ. Paul, good to hear you, and I have you in and out as well. We picked up Mark, KC8FQV. Anybody else like to join this motley crew? Participate in the trivia question and tell us what's on your mind. Give me a call. This is W8WKY, standing by.
Kilowatt Germany 7, Italy Radio Command. And my trivia answer is C.
All right, Paul, I'm sorry. Yeah, I've made that mistake before. And I got you down for Charlie, and I got the log corrected, KG7IRJ. All right, Paul, thanks for stopping by. Mark, do you need trivia question read? Over.
Well, yeah, because I was over at the Oklahoma group before I came here. So I got in here about 8 after, or something like that. KCFQV.
All right, that's not an excuse, Mark, but we'll let it go this time. Eric, would you mind reading Mark the trivia question again, please? W8ELM, W8WKY.
As they say at Chick-fil-A, it will be my pleasure. Using only a well a stick, and a man hired to count the paces between the two, Eratosthenes, chief librarian in Alexandria, was able to determine which of the following in 240 BC. A, the distance between the sun and the earth. B, the circumference of the earth. C, the length of a stadion, a unit of measure. Or D, the speed of light. Back to net.
Okay, Eric, the master of trivia, thank you for that second rendition. We appreciate that. Mark, you are up. KC8, FQV, W8WKY. What do you have for us, and what's your answer to the trivia question?
All right, Gary, KC8, I'm going to say Charlie. C, and not a lot else here happening. Yeah, I found out how to use ragchew.app. Matter of fact, I talked to the guy that got it going, or developed it. He was over on the Oklahoma group. I guess he was the one that put it together. That's a neat thing. I heard about Sunday night on the Beacon Net. I think is where I heard it first at. And I did see how to get it wrote. And now, yeah, you put it on my phone, I could see it. So I used it this afternoon when they had the board and breaker net on. A slick thing. Yeah, hopefully I'll get out Wednesday or Thursday to the meeting. And hopefully the night thing went okay. And yeah, I watched them sleeve a pipe under the road. I knew they were going to do it when I got my ears lowered. I came back through and I said, oh, they're working on a road down here. What are they doing? I know they were going to be working on that road doing something about putting a sleeve through a pipe. So instead of opening the road up and replacing the culvert pipe, they just put a plastic, amounts to a big garbage bag through, with resin inside between the two walls, and then put a bunch of air in it, and then use ultraviolet light to cure it. So, other than that, it doesn't do much today. Well, so, it was a good day. So, let's send it back your way, Gary. KC8 FQV.
KC8 FQV, W8WKY. All right, Mark. Got you down for Charlie, and sounds like you've been busy as well. And that's a good thing. Everybody should stay busy. Okay, I'm at the bottom of my list, and we are approaching the top of the hour, so let me turn it back to the master of trivia. Eric, W8ELM, what's the answer? This is W8WKY.
All right, Gary, I just wanted to remind you the reason I didn't want you to answer the question, because you remember when we rode that galley back to Greece when Eratosthenes was on sabbatical from the library there in Alexandria, and we discussed this. But that was a long time ago, and you may not remember, but I'm going to give you a chance to answer if you want.
I remember. No, I don't need the answer. I really don't, but it's a great question, Eric, seriously. Great distractors, and stadion is an interesting word as well, so I'm sure you have lots of explanatory phraseology to deliver, so I'm going to turn it right back to you. Over.
All right, Very good. Well, we had 4 correct answers tonight. The correct answer was B, the circumference of the Earth. KD8SLG, Nick was first in line there. K8PJW, Philip. KG4SCK, Mark. And N8LTR, Bill. So thanks, everybody, for participating tonight. Contrary to what a lot of people think, Columbus knew the Earth was round when he set out sailing. He wasn't worried about sailing off the end of the Earth. Actually, by about 500 BC, scholars knew that Earth, like the sun and the moon, was a sphere. When the sun was directly overhead in Syene, Egypt, its reflection could be seen in the water at the bottom of a deep well. Eratosthenes knew this. So he measured the angle of the shadow cast by a stick in Alexandria at the same moment, and after having runners determine, or actually before that, he had runners determine the number of paces in between, and calculated the Earth's circumference to within less than 1% of the value that was accepted today. Let me get just a second. Distance of the sun between the sun and the Earth was known a long time ago too, not to the precision that we have, but Posidonius in the 1st century BC, Ptolemy in the 2nd century BC had made attempts at this. And a stadion, S-T-A-D-I-O-N, is the Greek unit of measure that Eratosthenes used. The Romans changed it to stadium, plural stadia, and it's somewhere between 150 and 200 meters. We're not sure exactly. They used different values, I think. But anyway, that's the straight dope that I've got. Hopefully most of it is somewhere close to the truth. W8WKY from W8ELM.
W8WKY.
W8ELM, W8WKY. Eric, I gotta say, your questions are fabulous, but your explanations are even better. Really love it, man. I'll tell you. You get the juices flowing. Great question, and you truly have earned the title Master of Trivia. No, great net. We have a few minutes left. Is there anybody else that would like to check in, number one? Or is there any rechecks or comments? Anything at all? Come on down.
K8OWX.
K8OW. Good evening, Thomas. How you doing? Over.
Well, good evening. I got distracted here with a side project and forgot to get in here and check in, but I figured I'd jump in real quick since there was a spot and say hi to everybody and then get back to my project here. So everybody have a good one, and I'll talk to a couple of you tomorrow morning. K8OWX.
Thanks for stopping by, Thomas. Really, that's great. Really appreciate that. Always good to hear from you and know everything is going well. I'll tell you, you have more projects, though, man. You are a busy guy. All right. Thank you for stopping by. Anybody else like to join us? Any other comments, check-ins, rechecks, whatever? Come on down. This is W8WKY. All right. We'll I guess we'll call it an evening. All right, we had, what do we do here? 25 with me, 26 check-ins. That's not too awfully bad. So at this time, and that is 8:54 p.m., I'll close the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Tuesday Night Net. We had 25, 26 check-ins. I want to thank Eric, W8ELM, for an outstanding job with another outstanding trivia question. I also want to thank all the listeners and all of you who participated in tonight's net. It is your participation that makes any net a success, so keep it coming. Well, till next Tuesday. Let's see, who's on next Tuesday? That would be KD8EPC. Dustin will be turning a dial, so stop by and say hello to Dustin. With that, this is W8WKY, and my personal call is AA8CS, and I return this repeater back to normal amateur radio use, W8WKY, and AA8CS is clear. 73, everybody. Have a great evening.
Is the net over already? Katie at SLG.
It's just beginning. Hi, Nick. Oh, man. So, what else is cooking?
Oh, my shoulder's a little hot and bothered this evening. KFAG did a really, he did a nice last call for Bob on the 6-meter net Sunday afternoon. I was there for that. That was pretty cool of him. So I wanted to make mention of that. And we'll lead with that. And if anybody's still listening, any of the Beacon Net listeners, tomorrow night, as it stands right now, Lucy's going to do the pre-show tomorrow night. So KE8YUK, and we're kind of looking forward to that. So I just thought I'd throw that out there to you directly there, Gary, but anybody else who's listening.
All right. I'm looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun. I think she is having a great time with ham radio. What would you say?
I would say yes. Yeah. It was, and the whole board and breaker net thing was a blast this afternoon. Ohio makes an impact when we get in there, so just throw that out there as well. But yeah, Lucy's, we're gonna have some fun tomorrow night. So I'm gonna log for her. So, it's gonna be the same old thing as on the screen, just somebody else talking, someone with a much more pleasant voice and demeanor than me.
Well, I wasn't going to go there, but you already did, so I concur. Oh, yeah. I have always, you always, the XYLs on
my dual display over to Millersburg already. So good to hear you in there tonight.
Hi, Eric. I think we doubled. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Nick, you still there? KD8SLG?
I know exactly what happened because I'm listening to the WatchNet on another radio right now. Eric started that transmission on the WatchNet and it landed over here. So he must have bumped the knob or something. I'm going to laugh about him over here because he's not listening. and he can't reach me from here. KD8SLG.
Yeah, KCFQV. What is that called? The bump net? KCFQV. I got to ask a question.
W8ELM. Eric, are you still on frequency? AAHCS is clear.
Yeah, KCFQ. I had a question. There was a guy that went from one hospital to the, about a year ago or so. He was in the hospital up in Akron, and I was wondering who that was. If anyone's out there, Nick or Gary, KCFQV.
KC8FQV AA8CS. Mark, I don't remember what you're talking about, but I have a terrible memory. But any more details?
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to think it was Ron or whom it was. They moved, or it was Bob even. But I remember about a year ago I thought that they were up to Akron and they were moved within the hospital once. And I'm trying to think who that was. I hope they're still doing good. But I knew they were moved over there. I don't know. Maybe Nick was the one. I can't recall who was it. But what on the Silvercreek group here, I thought. KCFQV.
W8WKY.
Well, I'm trying to think, Mark, but absolutely nothing's coming to me. I really don't. And I'm trying. I'm truly thinking back. And you're saying about a year ago. I don't know. It escapes me.
Yeah, I'm going to throw it out maybe in the barometer. Maybe someone remembers in the morning. So, I didn't expect you to remember, but, never can tell. Or, if someone else was out there listening. But I might have to remember to throw it out in the barometer net in the morning. And, see, I remember they were transferred there because they had to do some rehab, and then they were moved within that facility, I thought, and then they were taken to a nursing. I can't recall now, but I remember we were wanted to be in sympathy for them, and I just can't recall now who it was. But then I heard about Bob and what happened. So, well, I'll have to throw it in the morning out, KCFQV.
Okay, Mark, I don't, I can't help you. So, all right, I'm going to call it a night here, and I will talk to you later. I don't think I'll be on the barometer net in the morning, but I'll talk to you later, Mark. AC8FQV, this is AA8CS 73. I'm out of here.
All right, I'll just leave it sitting here listening while I finish poking myself. Now all the fluids are loaded, so now we just got to poke and put it back in. So KCFQV.
W8WKY. W8WKY.